person know about NLP here?
Heard about it.
Heard about it.
I also heard about
Heard about it.
yes.
Very good. I think Priya knows. Other than that, oh, good. So good afternoon, everybody. Before I start, this is Valentine's season. So let me start with an incident. I saw a beautiful girl, the other side of the room. She was not here. When I was traveling, I saw a beautiful girl on the other side of the room. She's quite neatly dressed up. But she was smiling, very beautiful and smiling. And there was a boy standing next to her, handing over a red flower. She got that. She took that flower from him and smiled back. Let me take a pause. Can you tell what happened next? Maybe I'll ask the timer.
Maybe the boy that was the girl.
Maybe she purchased the flower from
Exactly. See, take a moment to realize that mind is a meaning-making machine, right? So there are two, even in the same room, there are two people who took meaning out of it. Actually, after she took the flower, she took a 10 rupees from the purse and gave it to the boy. They smiled at each other and they part ways. She bought the flower. Good. So this is the exact point. So after this 18-20 minutes, you may not get the entire NLP because NLP is a vast topic. I've been training from 2020. I've been getting the training from 2020 onwards. But a couple of things you'll take away from this meeting. Mind is always a meaning-making machine. On the theme of the day, it cannot not communicate. So mind always communicates. So be aware of it. If you can have that awareness, that is the one takeaway you have. Okay, let's go past history of NLP. There are two guys, Richard Bandler and John Grider. They are called as the father of NLP. So in 1970s, they were actually studying in the University of California. So one day, there was an assignment given to Richard Bandler asking him to transcribe the voice notes of Fritz Perls. Fritz Perls is a psychologist, psychiatrist, father of Gestalt theory. So he passed away by that time. So the assignment given was just take the notes, listen to the voice note and take notes. That was the assignment given. That time there was no software to convert voice to text and all. So he has to listen to the audio notes, listen for days and days, pause, then take notes. That is what he was doing for days, weeks, months. And he was getting help from John Ritter. They were all very young that time. Okay. Over a period, what happened? Have you all seen Lage Raghu Munnabai movie? So in that, Sanjay Dutt used to read a lot about Gandhiji. And what point he used to get a hallucination of talking to Gandhiji, he himself becomes Gandhiji, or he started enacting that. The same thing, what happens is Richard Bandler started solving patients' problem like Fritz Perls. He is not alive that time, but he used to talk to his patients, try to resolve things like how he does. And this was the rest of the professors got very amazed. How can happen? He's a student. How can a student act like a very senior person? So that was the start of the whole study. So initially they thought it was maybe by accident it would have happened. So they said, let's try this out with another living person. So then another Virginia Setter was a living psychiatrist. So they did the same activity. They worked very closely with Virginia Setter, how she is actually working, what is her thought process, what is the emotion she's. So all these things they learned and then they documented, and again they were able to repeat the same thing. And it was nothing short of a magic. So they wrote a book called Structure of Magic. This book is very much available in Amazon, very costly though. But this is how the whole NLP thing originated in 1975, around that time. You will get a question actually, is it all restricted to only psychology because we talk only about psychology, psychiatrists? It is not. So the first time they tried out when US military had a problem. So in the training program, US military, they had this pistol shooting training. 25% only could pass that shooting. So though they had the state-of-the-art resources available for training, only 25% could pass out that. So they handled this, they handed over this problem to the NLP team. Can you solve a problem? The NLP team did the same study. They studied the successful people. See, when you ask the successful people, how are you doing? Many times they will not be able to answer it. If you ask Steve Jobs, how are you presenting so well? Will you be able to answer how am I presenting? He may not, because it would have gone to their unconscious competency level. Now, on a normal competency, competency or they cannot explain how they are doing it. So that is where the NLP tools and techniques will help to understand how they are doing it, what they are doing. So they studied all 25 people who actually succeeded. And can you guess what was the result? They implemented the training, they did the training. What was the result? How many percentage would have passed now?
100.
100. That's right. So all 100 people were passed. So that was successful. And in this talk, I'm giving a couple of examples just to show that it was applied in other areas as well. This was in a corporate, in fear. The same problem happened. They had to do it in the training. They did study. Robert Dills from Richard's team studied it. And Alpha Leadership is a book based on the corporate learnings of the great leaders. He has come up with that. And this is actually incorporated in the training plan. So this is what it is. So NLP, if you ask me, my mentor says, my coach says, there are many definitions. Okay, if you Google NLP, there are hundreds of definitions. But the thing which actually stuck in my mind is, it is the study of the difference that makes the difference. Why are certain people able to do some things? What are the special things which certain people are able to do, which make them successful, whereas rest of us yet to reach, and not able to yet to reach. Okay, so that is the NLP, study of the difference that makes the difference. Okay, so let's quickly cover NLP. The full form is Neuro-Linguistic Programming. Neuro is, we'll cover in detail, but neuro is how we are using our senses to process the data from outside. That is the neuro part, brain part. Linguistic is the word part, how we are using words to influence, communicate to others, to ourselves. Most of the communication we are doing to ourselves actually. Can you guess what percentage of communication we are doing to ourselves?
70.
70 to 80% it is doing. So when I'm talking to Ashok sir, I'm not talking to Ashok sir. I'm talking to the perception of Ashok sir in my mind. So most of the talking we are doing to ourselves. I do not know Ashok sir. Okay, he might be different. In the sense, I know I know his model. In my mind, there is a different picture of Ashok sir. I have a different picture of Suhasini. Suhasini may not be like that for others. So that talk is that is what we have to realize. Okay. So language, again, the language we use to influence mostly us and to others. And the third is the programming. Maybe Richard Bandler, I see, is from a computer background, okay? And that is why he's put a program. Because this is again a program. In fact, it can be reprogrammed. The input here is our five senses. Data is from outside. You're getting the input, you're processing it, and you're programming your behavior. The output is the behavior. So that is why you would have put it as NLP. And it is always can be reprogrammed also. Okay. So next, I want one question to ask. How was your day yesterday? Yeah. How was your day yesterday? Yeah.
For PDS, end of the week. So most of the people are having a gala time, but our department was hectic. Yeah, so this was my day, and that's how I had to sum up my day. But I'm working professional, so finance background in the sense it's always going to be hectic no matter what. So people around me were having a gala time, and I was jealous indeed. Yeah, so now I have to sum up my day today.
Great, thanks you.
Yeah, thank
you. A round of applause for him. When he took, I saw the time to just check how much time he's taking to explain. Maybe he took less than a minute, few seconds. A day is 24 hours, 1,440 minutes, 86,400 seconds. He summed up in less than a minute. Does that mean everybody was having jealous? Does that mean 24 hours he was jealous? I don't think so. 24 hours, it was not. You would have had different things happening from morning. Maybe during the time in office you have felt that. But that is what remained in his mind when I asked, how was your day yesterday? This is the important thing which you should take away from this 20 after the 20 minutes. This is the communication model I am talking about. Before looking into that, let me explain. So at every second, we are bombarded with 2 to 4 billion bits of information. So many informations are there. Everybody's thinking something is putting onto me. I cannot process all 2 billion to 4 billion bits of information. I cannot process. All I can process is 134 bits. It is study, okay? I can only process 100 bits of information. So where is the other things going? It is getting filtered out. So in NLP, there is a terminology called delete, distort, generalize. So some of the things which has happened in his life yesterday, he deleted. Some of the things he distorted. Some of the things he's generalized. Finally, he came up with a brief description of less than a minute, telling that others are having gala time, he was jealous. This is a brief one-liner he gave. But a lot of things would have happened when you think about it from each moment, lot of things. I mean, not only to him, everybody. If somebody is asking me how was your day, I'll say it was good. It was not good all 1,440 minutes. I had ups and downs. I would have had everything. But I may not remember everything. I may not be able to, I will not process all the information. I cannot process. So what we process is very limited. We most of the time generalize, we most of the time delete. You would have seen my mother other day was telling, when the remote was not working, she was telling, it is always like that. See, it is not always like that. We generalize. Some people tell, no traffic, when they stuck in traffic. Some people tell, they generalize things. If you ask them, is it always? Was there no time when things were very small? No. It was moving. But this is the input you are giving to your mind. And your mind graciously takes this and think that, okay, this is how it will be. And that is process put as a behavior. That becomes your beliefs, indirectly becomes your behavior. So whenever you are generalizing, so the second takeaway is whenever you are telling something to yourself or to others, think, is it adding to your limiting belief or empowering belief? If it is a limiting belief, you have the power to change it through your words. Not always. I mean, today the traffic has some problem, but generally it is not like that. I'm okay. I can tell that I'm very nervous standing here. I can tell that. Otherwise, I can tell that I'm very confident here. So what should I tell to empower myself? Should I tell that I'm very nervous standing here, or should I tell that I'm confident? I'm okay today. The words which you use has got a lot of power. So pick your words. So that is what I was telling. It filters out. So this is the input we are telling. And that is what becomes your belief, your values, your decision making. And the difference between you or us and the success is this one. Successful people are very aware of what is fed into their head. Very much aware. They will not just like that tell anything which will actually end up in a limiting belief. So this is the second. If at all you are not getting anything else, any other thing, it is fine. But these two takeaways is very important. Okay. So communication and how you are creating behavior. Another thing which I want to tell is, have you noticed somebody tells that every time I read the book, I'm getting different meaning out of it. This is a common thing. Why do you think it happens? Not only book, any watching movie. Every time I watch a movie, I get people tell that. Perception, yes, but you are evolving every day. This is the process. Your input goes on to it, your mind. Every day with that input you are getting, you are evolving.
The past experiences.
Exactly. This is the past experience. How do you get past experience? How do you process the data? Through your 5 senses. All the data, the input is 5 senses. Visual, auditory, kinesthetics, touch, taste, and smell. Sorry, touch, taste, and smell. This is the 5. This is how the input goes. And this is how your decisions, your beliefs are formed. And that forms your whole system is actually evolving every day. So today you are reading something, tomorrow your system is upgraded. You get a different perception. Perception is correct, but you are evolving. Every day you are evolving. After the session, you are evolving. You are not the person who's before the session. After the session, you are a different person. Everybody is a different person. The awareness is the key here. You should be aware that I am getting evolved. You should be aware that there are different meanings for the same things. And there is a possibility that there can be a different meaning elsewhere. That is a different.
What is the lead to ambiguity? Okay. Not having.
It is not ambiguity. Just be aware that there are possibility. I'll tell you an example. Okay, I'll tell you an example. So I'm coming from a corporate world. So every day there will be some or other conflicts I have to handle. So generally juniors and all people who are handling or managers, your team will come and tell that person is always like that. He's not even listening to it. He's not doing certain things. Those kind of complaints will come. They are generalizing. So you go and ask them. You listen to the other side of the story. There may be different perspective of stories. My request to you is be open to the different perspective. A different perspective is what you have to be open to. Each person. The quick example is one of my lead was giving a translation to a junior most person. The junior was in Chennai. The lead was in Noida. They were giving through teams. One day the lead was telling me that that person is very arrogant. He's not listening to me. He joined only a week or 2 weeks back, and he seems to be a pavan guy. I don't know why he is. So I went and asked him what happened. He said, my laptop webcam is not working. And he was scared to tell that to that girl. So he was keeping quiet. This is the truth. But how it was perceived, he is arrogant. Okay. And if we didn't sort out, that will be in her mind. And anything and everything he speaks will be on top of that. And the whole relationship will spoil. And that is how the whole conflict will happen. So we have to understand the both sides. So request here is you need to go and be open. There is a possibility like that. Don't go with one side. There is a possibility. Every story, every coin has two sides. Understand that. Okay. So before we move on, couple of things in NLP. NLP is actually a bundle of tools and techniques to do this, to identify the difference and to how to include that, how to learn that. It's basically a modeling technique actually. So if you know if Ashok sir is very good at certain things, I can talk to him, understand the behavior model, and I will include it in my thing, and I can start doing what he is good at. I can include that behavior in my armor. That is what. So even in a master practitioner, we were asked to give an assignment to model and behavior. So a couple of people I identified who are good at that, and I interviewed them, understood, modeled it, and we prepared a model. That is what the assignment was. So before we get success mindset, couple of things. When we take responsibility, so I'm asking, why are you late, Subhasini, today?
Because I don't know where to park my car.
Okay, is this a good way to respond or not?
Should have planned accordingly, much ahead, they should have come.
Yeah, but still she's taking the responsibility.
Aye.
Sometime when we go to office, somebody is asking, why are you late? Traffic, heavy traffic. See, it may be, but the thing which you have to understand here is we are giving the power to an external factor. What NLP asks is you be in the cause effect. You take the responsibility. That will give us the power to correct it also next time. I didn't plan it, I was late. So next time if I plan it, I can be early. But if you give the power to traffic, because of the traffic it was late, you cannot control traffic. So you'll be always late. So that is why NLP always suggests to be in cause mode, not in effect mode. And also orientation, we should talk from an outcome orientation, not from a problem orientation. I want to bring a tea. I'm asking my daughter to put a tea. She's telling, Amma paalilla, current illa, induction stove illa. Whereas my second daughter said, can I put a black tea with stuff? That is solution oriented. The other one is problem. You keep digging your problem. You'll only, I'm telling you a very simple example, but in office you can relate to it. When you tell a thing, problems only will be there. Okay, I want to start a new initiative. No, that initiative will not work. Because of this reason, it will not work. They will list down the things which it will not work.
It's already trial and fail.
So this is all problem oriented. That's the next point, very good point. So outcome oriented is what we have to. As a person, you have to, and you have to train your people also to think outcome oriented. The last one, as you said, NLP suggests to take setbacks as feedback. There is no failure. NLP, there are a lot of presuppositions. they gives an example of Edison. I think you all know the story of Edison. How many times he tried? I will not even use say 10,000 times. 10,000 times he tried, and after 10,000 times only he invented. So when somebody says, "How can you be so crazily persistent?" He said, "I just find out 10,000 ways of not working." So that is feedback. The moment we understand that no setback is failure, it's just a feedback, it is again an empowering thing, right? There's no point. You try it, it doesn't work, it's fine. I'll try another way. So these are the three key things for a success mindset, and NLP always talks about this is a route for learning the different things in NLP. Okay, I hope you would have learned something from this. Another technique from NLP is rapport building. When you meet a person, I think everybody is in corporate world or some call. When I meet a new person, we start a conversation. We tell, how is the weather? Weather is a normal thing. Then cricket, if they know, we start with the cricket. If you watch the cricket yesterday or some football, if we that we find a commonality and we start talking. What if have you seen how political leaders build that rapport? Have you seen? Go and watch it when next time. These are the certain things. What is happening?
Having the same gesture and.
This is called mirroring. Mirroring and matching. This is matching. Mirroring is this one. If you see they are trained in that. They are trained in that. So when very high level leaders talk, they do this mirroring and matching. This subconsciously creates a rapport. When somebody is doing the same thing, when I am talking to, every time I'm taking a show, officer, if I am talking in the same pace, or are talking in the same level, naturally a rapport will be built. Sometimes some people talk Hindi in between, or local language. If we start talking in that way, oh, the no, that kind of will be said. And that is how the rapport will be built. This is one of the key things in NLP. So understand the commonality. If not, mirror and match. There is no harm in mirroring and match. You can easily do with your client. If the client is, talking, he is extending his arm, you can also do that. Handshake, you can, if he's giving firmly, you can give. You can mirror or match what he is doing. And slide, and don't do that level that it doesn't look like immediate. You have to be very careful. And again, when we understand the commonality, just because somebody knows cricket, I should not, if I don't know cricket, I should not fake it. That will end up in a mess. Okay, now that you have learned that, what do you see?
Ready. Hungry, hungry, hungry.
Aggressive.
Oh,
Aggressive.
What do you see?
I see a person pointing finger.
Exactly. The rest of the things you are making meaning. How do you know he's threatening? How do you know he's aggressive? So we have to practice that. If what I see a person pointing finger, wearing a maroon t-shirt, round neck. He's talking something, focused on somebody. That's all I see. I don't see an angry man. I don't see threatening. This is all the meaning you are making. Okay. So with this, I leave you. I hope it was useful. Change the way you see things. The things you say will change. Thank you.